Hello and welcome. First, let me apologize. This video is a bit late. This video should have been out a couple of weeks ago, but unfortunately I got a little bit of a cold and it took me a while to get over it. Then my family got sick. So I'm apologizing for the late video. Today we're going to talk about the major festival of the first month, Uzu A Bal. Now you might be wondering, wasn't the Great Offering the major festival? Yes, and this happened at the same time. The Great Offering is a festival that happened quite often during the calendar. Uzu A Bal is particular to this month, or rather last month since this is a late video. Uzu A Bal translates roughly to pouring of water over flesh. Experts are fairly certain about the translation itself, but what does it mean? Specifically, what does flesh mean? There are a few possible interpretations. When looking at multiple interpretations of translation, there is always the possibility that more than one of these interpretations is accurate simultaneously. Let's take a look at some of those ideas. The pouring of water over flesh might have actually been a soup or a stew offering. Now remember that the first harvest has just happened, and we have a lot of food in our storehouses which we've been holding back for the lean months. The new harvest is mixed with meat to produce a hearty soup or stew. There is room now in the storehouses for new food to be placed, and the old food doesn't go to waste, so we can now honor the gods in a way that benefits everyone. For an offering such as this, a large portion of food would have been prepared. Like a lot of holidays, this fell on the same period as the greater offering. The soup would be an offering to each of the gods first before passing to the people as a blessed meal. The gods being offered to would be offered to in the order as specified in the Great Offering, i.e., from the greatest downward. After being offered, the food would then be given to the people. Remember, Mesopotamia was a very community-oriented society, and this is particularly true in the early time periods because cooperation was how communities survived, and it's the foundation that makes all of civilization work in the first place. Another interpretation is that this is a cleansing or bathing ritual for the statue of the gods. When you consider that the name of the month is the throne of the sanctuary, this would make sense. However, as I recently learned, this is actually an older interpretation of how the name of the month should be translated. A more recent translation is that it is the month when something is placed beside the throne, i.e., when visiting statues of deities are placed beside the throne of Enlil, since this is the Nippurian calendar. So this has to do with the ritual procession of many statues. But it would still make sense as a festival for when the statue of Enlil is ritually cleaned and when the temple is ritually cleaned. For Nippur, this would have been a time when the statue of Enlil was taken out of his holiest of holies, and any cleaning would have been done in the temple. The temple and the statue would have been cleansed ritually and physically, and then re-enthroned into their holy place. Either or both of these interpretations may be correct. We know that after a long growing season, that a hearty stew was a good way to consume dried goods. We also know that cleansing of the deity statue and the thorough cleaning of a temple was something that was done, and it was an important event. Now there's obviously the chance that neither of these interpretations are correct. If that does turn out to be the case, we'll have to revisit the subject. But in that case, you'd think that we would be upset that we were wrong about something. Not at all, because that means that we have a ton of new information about the religion to explore. So it's actually a good thing when we find out that we're wrong about something. So instead of clinging to outdated ideas, it's best to just embrace the new knowledge. We're constantly translating new tablets. We're constantly finding new artifacts. So it's always best to embrace the new knowledge. It's always best to not cling to information that's just flat out wrong. So, for a modern practitioner, let's make food using ingredients that we've been keeping in our cupboards and fridge. Clean your shrine or altar. Rededicate your shrine or altar. Since this is a multi-day festival coinciding with the greater offering, make the offerings to all of the gods, starting with the greatest of their number. Well, I hope you learned a lot, and I will talk to you guys all next time. Bye-bye.